Recording.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 83 of the Fresh Mondays podcast with your girl Diana and Marley, back on the ones and twos.
Back at you again for the quarantine edition.
Yes, guys, we're still at it. We're still doing it. We're still surviving the lockdown.
We are clocking this shit in.
Still, like some call it, house arrest. Still doing it.
That's a lot. That's extra. At least we can still go to Target.
This is true.
Things that matter.
Right.
I think if Target was closed, we would have more of a difficult time.
I mean, for sure.
Is that first world problems?
I mean, any superstore right now is major fucking key. You know what I'm saying? A store where I can get food, clothes, cleaning supplies, and also like games and shit at the same time is
and a face mask.
I mean,
lotions.
Come on, like these superstores, even though they're killing the American, business, they really come through. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know where we would be without these superstores and even Amazon right now. I know everybody like hates these big companies, but what would we be doing right now without them?
Would the small business be? That's actually a great thought. Would the small business still be like functioning if Amazon and like big market box retailers weren't open or didn't exist?
I mean, the good thing about Amazon, even though we're not going to like go all the way deep on Amazon right now, but the good thing about Amazon is that it at least is giving independent entrepreneurs a way to sell things.
Very true.
Drop shipping is such a huge business.
Yep.
And it's like the wave for people in our age bracket to make side money. I know many people who do it. For those of you who don't know anything about it, it's worth a Google. It's really something that you can make some money off of if you have the patience to actually educate yourself.
My page is half built and sitting there.
Right, exactly. But the point is, it is true. It's not just a fad. It's a profitable business. And because of a huge conglomerate like Amazon, that's why people can do these type of things for a living. So in a way, even though people hate Amazon and the fact that it's kind of killing small businesses, it's creating a different type of small business at the same time.
It has this, everything has its 50-50. Everything has a small deal with the devil, or like, you know what I mean? Like everything has its negative in some way, shape, or form. But these are interesting times we are living in. And so as our conversation from last week with G.O.A.T in regards to small businesses and small business loans, we did come across a lot of valuable information for small business owners, opportunities, and actually we got to see and understand the struggle small businesses are going through at these times.
Absolutely. And also, ironically, as you guys have all been noticing on the news since the last time we aired or dropped, we had a guest that was honest enough to tell us that they weren't following the rules. Come to find out, people were desperate to start working because now they started opening up some states and they're starting to allow some businesses to open, and they couldn't wait. They're out there and they're working and they're wearing masks and they're cutting hair and they're doing different type of things. And I can understand that. We spoke to someone on our last episode. For those of you who didn't catch it, just play back to the previous episode, number 82. You'll get to hear a person who said, I'm going to defy the rules right now and I'm going to survive. And I think that this example was seen in the past week and a half with all these business owners, like just basically working, even though they may have not been advised to.
That was a risky take. That was a risky, thing to do for him. But it's for each their own. Just like for these small businesses to still open, that's your own risk. That's at your own risk. And as a consumer for going to those small businesses, that's on your own risk as well. Right? Because now you're opening yourself to, and I think about this, what were we doing before this? Like germs were still existing then. Right? And of course, this is a different germ. But now we're taking super precautions that you want to make sure the next place you go to get a haircut is taking those same precautions that we now are implementing in our social norms. But everyone has to enter now, as they were before, at their own risk, but at a higher risk, I think.
Right. But I also saw a really good take on this, talking about how we're not building an immunity to whatever this is because we're locked up. So there's a factor to that as well. You can't just hide for the rest of your life. We can't face this with fear. We have to also understand that we have to have faith that things are getting better, and that you have to develop some type of a strength against it. Like, you can't live in a bubble, because
No,
if
of
that's the
course.
case, there's always going to be something else that can harm you and kill you and
You'll live
destroy
in
your.
fear. Fear itself will kill you.
Exactly.
That's
So
without a
it's
doubt.
like a lot, like not to go 100% left, but in Sweden, as we all know, they've been open, and they didn't do social distancing for us quite as long as we did, and they're doing social distancing still with their businesses functioning, and they're having a lot of success. So it's not as if there isn't another alternative to this option. So just because a person is willing to go to the store because they feel like their immune system is on point, it doesn't mean that we're not looking at them like crazy rebels because you don't follow. You know
Sure.
what I mean? That's not the
Yeah.
case.
I do have a small hot take, but I'll do it off the mic. It compares it to Sweden to Americans,
Yeah,
just on a cleanliness level sometimes. I just feel they run differently, if that makes sense. Just a weird little thing. Just a thought. And less number of people, if that makes, like, I don't know. That was just my first thought, is cleanliness sometimes. I can't trust other people's cleanliness, if that makes sense.
that's fair. And Americans, we have a lot of things that we do that not other cultures do.
Yeah, just a
Very
random,
fair.
like, that's the first, like, thought to process. But that's very true. I mean, fear can possibly kill you. And I think that's the other thing we need to remember. There's so many factors. There's so many ways to go about it. There's so many, like, thought processes. Because when this first started, I told everyone, like, stop panicking, relax, calm down, wash your hands, right? Like, just chill, right? And I haven't had fear, thankfully, but I know a lot of people who do have a lot of fear in them. And
Hmm.
so a lot of that, you have to just remind them, like, it's all going to go back to normal.
I can relate to that. I think that I don't think I've ever felt fear.
Yeah.
Like not thus far.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Um, and so we're gonna liven this up a little bit because there's a lot happening out there. And so far during the quarantine series, we've talked about different areas that have been affected or impacted in some sort of way with all the closing of businesses, events, uh, live sports, all these social gatherings that used to be available and
Right.
are now canceled. We're gonna go into the topic of sports. And we've covered small businesses, we've covered individual actions and those kind of things. And so now we want to know, how does this affect those big sports gatherings? I mean, just sporting activities that we used to do all together. What does that look like in the near future? What does it look like for students, for athletes, etc.? So we're going to be joined by a guest. Her name is Toccara Williams. She is a former WNBA basketball player and a current head coach at Nova High School for basketball. And we're going to talk Jordan Doc, sporting events, and all that stuff, etc. with the pandemic. All right, guys. Toccara, welcome to the show. Welcome to Fresh Mondays. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me on.
Tell our listeners about yourself, what you do, and your background, because I think that's important to share also, why you're our subject matter expert on this conversation today.
All right. Well, I graduated from Sidebar High School in South Florida. Got a college scholarship to Texas A&M. As you can see, it's my background. Gig 'em Aggies. And from there, I got drafted to the WNBA, played overseas in Korea, China, Israel, and Turkey. And I coach high school basketball. Right now, I'm the current head coach at Nova Southeastern University at the high school. And I also am a real estate agent, call myself the basketball realtor. So that's me in a nutshell, just to summarize it up. I actually am an SEC legend. That's the conference that I played basketball in college. In 2016, I became a SEC legend.
Wow, that's amazing. I know the SEC network is huge. That's where you watch all the games,
Yes,
the
yes,
college
yes.
games. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome conference. Nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Does
So
that
you're a
mean like you have a
champion.
oh
You're a champion. She's an athlete. We're talking to an athlete and a champion, which is perfect. We're going to
For
get into
sure.
champion athletic conversations.
There we go. There we go.
I was
We
gonna say that
dive
means
deep.
that she has like a lot of numbers and a lot of things, like it
Yeah.
shows. Yeah.
So So my senior year in college, I actually led the nation in steals. So I was number one in the nation in steals, and I also hold the steals record at Texas A&M with 452. So I hope no one breaks that record. I kind of went
talk
kind of
your
high,
shit.
so yeah, they're gonna have to put in some work if they want to break that one.
That's what's up. Speaking of high school students, I know this has a large impact and a real hard hit for the kids who are in high school. How are your students holding up? Because that's one part we wanted to talk about also, is how are teachers holding up, students holding up in this whole pandemic, especially with their whole year is kind of messed up, and like you're not gonna get back to those games, you're not gonna go for championship. Like, what does that look like? How does that feel for the kids and for you?
Well, for the high school kids, we had already finished our state championship, so that was pretty good. It affected college more. Our high school season was over, but now that we're in off season, not being able to work with them and kind of be there with them to see what they're doing is kind of tough. And with the parks being closed, a lot of kids don't have the opportunity to get to a park and work out. Fortunately, my kids, they have courts in the back of their houses. They have basketball goals in their houses. So, they're a little more, they have an advantage. And I'm just hoping that during this time that they take advantage of that. But for the kids that don't, you have to improvise. I did that growing up. You got to just dribble in place wherever you can find space in the house. Probably drive your parents crazy, but got to get the job done, especially if you're trying to get to the next level and play and keep yourself in shape. And it is tough, it's thinking outside of the box. I think with this generation of kids, they've become so accustomed to a gym and playing inside that they didn't know what going outside meant until they had to go outside. And now that outside is closed, it's a little tough for them.
Right. Now, what happens to those students who have prospective scholarships to go to, universities because they're athletically above the rest, doing really well, they're doing well in stats? What happened to those kids? Because of this, no one's able to see them play. Are they getting acknowledged from like videos from what they were doing in the past? Like, how is that working out?
Yeah, so now is the time that you gotta be a little more proactive, and with that comes the video. So if you have video, you need to be sending it out to coaches, emailing coaches, because coaches actually have nothing to do but read emails now. So if you send out videos and they can get to see you play, it's basically everybody's working on without seeing you in the flesh and just on video. There's some things that may be missed, like the character of a kid. Like if they messed up in the camera doesn't catch how they reacted, it's kind of hard for coaches to gauge what they're doing there. So video is going to be key in communication with schools. I know a lot of kids think that they should just jump on the first offer that they have, but you got a lot of kids on the collegiate level that's entered into a transfer portal. So that means that the college they were at, they don't want to be there, and they put their name in a transfer portal to be picked up by other colleges, which affects the graduating class of 2020 if they haven't signed to a school yet.
Interesting. This is a whole new...
I noticed a lot.
No, but this is a whole new like graduation's affected also. I know my cousin has to graduate by watching the screen and her name pop up. Like right. That's, and now that as we talk about going to college, like she went through all of college. She goes, I worked this hard and now I'm just looking at a computer screen for my name. Right. Instead of them 4 hours I was supposed to be sitting there. She's like, there's an advantage to it. I don't have to sit there, but right. I'm gonna watch my name and I'm gonna have my party in the backyard, a party of one outside right. for my graduation party and do it. So
yeah, but that sucks. Even though graduation is boring, at the end of the day, every graduation is boring. We all know that.
No matter what.
Even when you're the one graduating or watching someone graduate, you're like, this shit is long. However, it's like it's a rite of passage, you know what I'm saying? And that sucks.
Yeah. And these kids, like you guys were asking about how does it change the scope of things, going to a campus and visiting the campus to see if you want to go to that school is nothing like actually being on the campus, getting a feel for the student body, the staff, walking around in the facilities.
That's true.
I mean, virtual is great, but I'm telling you, the reason why I chose Texas A&M, when I went there, it was a feeling that I got. Like I just connected with the atmosphere there. And I don't think you can get that virtually. Well, for me, at least. I won't answer for everybody.
And to think of it, like a lot of these colleges aren't going back in person to like probably next spring. Like fall is all going to be fall semester or summer. Both are actually going to be probably all virtual, all online classes the whole time. And it's probably going to take some time to actually even go into the physical realm of holding classrooms. Remember, you used to sit like 85, 90 people into a classroom, and you'd be like, the
100,
hell?
girl, a lecture can have 100 people for sure.
A lecture. That's the word, a lecture. You remember them fucking lectures?
Of course, everybody had lecture hall, especially for them generalized classes.
Right.
Of course.
So sociology 101, and there's 89 of us, 110
Right.
piled up in some old ass classroom with no AC.
You sign in. There's no attendance. You just sign in.
I remember, now to think about it, like these kids are going to miss out. There's a lot of interaction. There's a lot of physicality that kind of gets removed.
Oh my God, school is everything. I can only imagine what it feels like to be a student right now and not be able to go to school. You complain,
in your
talk shit,
year?
but school, it don't matter what year you're in. School is everything. When you're young and you have nothing going on, school is life. Okay.
It's true. It's true. Because you want to leave so bad, and then you'll be like, damn, take me back.
Hell
You're just bullshitting outside all day.
Hell
Nothing
yeah.
like social interaction.
You know the teenagers ain't making out with nobody. They ain't doing the little low key stuff in the hallways. You know they ain't bored.
Not to think of it, I did enjoy I enjoyed my high school. But I don't care what nobody has to say. I went to Douglas. You could call it what you wanted to call it.
There we go.
I know,
go.
Little privileged kids and everything, but we had a blast and we knew how to make it work with what we got.
Hey, that's all that matters.
It's always that. So speaking of social gatherings, one thing I was thinking about is how do we go back into going to sports arenas or sporting events or fields? Not fields, because that's super wide open space with plenty of 6 feet separation. But like, how do we go back into those large, crowded heat games?
I mean, but do we see that even happening is the real question.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very tough. Look at my background. Like, you guys see that?
That's a lot of people.
People in there. That's what I'm saying.
The energy.
Like,
that's the energy.
Yeah, it's hard to get back to that space because, I mean, again, you don't know who has what, and you're not trying to pass it to someone if you have it and don't know. And then vice versa, you don't want them passing it to you. And universities and pro teams don't want the players being affected, the players and the coaches and the staff members of that facility. It's just so much liability that goes into that. I know for basketball season, like right now it's the summertime and we have what we call the evaluation period where colleges can be out and see kids play. But the next one coming up is in July. And it's just like, it's hard to have that without a crowd because parents would have to send their kids without them. And that's tough within itself in this day and age to send your kid with the coach and expect the coach to be over everybody. Back in my day, yeah, that was easy because we all respected the coaches, but kids now, they're slick. They get into everything. So that's a tough responsibility. So I'm not sure how they're going to get this going. I hear the NBA is actually opening up to the players for practice May 1st. So, we just kind of follow that and see what happens.
Well, you being an ex-professional basketball player, which is pretty cool because you've got to play all over the world and you've got to, I'm sure, see the whole world. The one thing that I guess is in common, regardless of what language people speak, is the energy from the crowd and the energy from the stands. And
Absolutely.
From everyone who's ever played a professional sport that I personally have met, has always said that they feed off of that energy. So in your opinion, do you think that they're going to be able to start having these professional games with no one in the stands?
I think players just want to play, but it's nothing like your home crowd cheering for you. Like to get people cheering for you, and like you said, feeling that energy, it just rises you up to another level. Some players are just mentally tough, and you can just block the crowd out, and you don't hear a thing. But that's a very small percentage. But for the most part, just hearing teams chant, your fans chant defense, that matters. Like, and you hear everybody saying it. You score a point, and the crowd goes wild. You can't hit a game winner and nobody's in the stands. It's like, all right, high five. That's just, the energy's not there. So I definitely understand that. That's going to be tough.
Would you guys, just a thought process, because I heard that they wanted some arenas, depending on the arena owner, want to test people's temperature as they come in. I personally don't want nobody testing me for nothing that I don't know first. before going into, so even if it is a laser coming at my head to read my temperature. I just want to know y'all thoughts. But personally, I don't even go to sporting events as it is. So usually. But what do you guys think about that? And would you do it?
That's tough because I don't know what they're using and what they're trying to check me with. So I don't know if I would just put myself in that position to walk in the arena and do that. So I'll probably chill out until they figure this thing all the way out.
Diana?
Well, okay. First and foremost, for those of you who have heard of the temperature testing, let's make sure to tell people they're not putting a thermometer in your mouth.
No.
Or in your armpit.
No, they're not.
Or none of those things.
No,
okay?
no, that's
that
not
right
that.
there sounds mad invasive.
No.
So let's clarify.
Can you imagine if this was like 100 years ago?
Yeah, in your
people are putting
you know what I'm saying?
thermometers in everyone's mouth?
Yeah.
With a little plastic wrap? They just pulling at the plastic wrap. No.
Let's clarify. This is like the one that your forehead. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh my God. I didn't even think about to clarify that. Thank you.
Yeah, because I know that I've seen the countries in Asia that they've been doing this for quite some time, and they take everybody's temperature before they go into a room. They just like scan your forehead. Okay. However, I did see something on the news the other day that they have drones now that can detect whether or not a human being has a fever from the sky by putting like these little circular like images on top of the human body, and then if it lights up red, that means that you're above a certain temperature, and then if it stays green, that means you're good. Some
like
very
those
simplistic
infrared kind of things, like a
correct.
Yeah.
So they're actually doing these things without even telling you they're doing these things, and they're testing out
without consent.
Correct. And I'm sure there was a consent that we signed one day when we were on Google. I'm sure.
On your Apple, when you said accept to this app.
The cookies, accept the cookies to see this promo code. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Right.
We signed away.
We have signed away our lives to several things.
Right. If you watch this Netflix episode, that means that you will allow, you know what I mean? They did it. So, however, the point is that there are other ways of doing this. And is this the new normal? If you want to go into an arena with 30,000 people sitting in the stands, the price that you must pay to do so is to make sure you're not infectious. If they put it to you like that, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be okay with getting their temperature checked. I really do not see people having an issue with it. Now, whether or not I'm comfortable with it, I think that right now, if they opened up everything next week, I'm in no rush to be in a place where there's 500 people next to me. I promise you I'm not.
Absolutely. Yep.
Regardless of how much bullshit this was or is or it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Whatever it is,
yeah.
It's not me. And I'm here. I'm inside. I'm just taking it slow. I think that's what's gonna happen for us overall. I think the one of us who are like have thought processes in a million different ways about this are all gonna take it slow. Like, right? I think we're all those people who are just like, take it slow. Everyone else who want to rush, go rush. Do your thing.
Have you used the public bathroom ever since coronavirus has been out?
I haven't been outside to use one.
Exactly.
You have not used the public bathroom? Okay, I'm going to say it right now.
No.
Use a public bathroom.
It's just clean as fuck.
You're going to want to cry. You're going to be like, I can't believe I'm putting myself in this danger. Okay, I am going to melt in this bitch. Like, you just feel so bad about yourself. You're like, I cannot believe I am in it. And if I felt like that in a fucking bathroom, I was like, oh, I had the mask, but I was like, this is just
a mask while using the bathroom. A mask while using the bathroom is hilarious. A mask and gloves is fucking funny. I haven't been outside to use a public bathroom. 1. 2, I already am deathly afraid of public bathrooms. Originally, what did they say? BC before Corona. I was definitely afraid that after it's just gonna be the same fear. But the taking it slow is definitely gonna happen. I wanted to get into what's going on right now and trending. I think that's keeping us happy while we're at home during all this like pandemic and no sports. I know a lot of people miss their basketball season is happening. And I think if people want to see LeBron James that bad, they'll do anything. Certain people will do anything. You gotta remember that, Diana. I think they're that obsessive. They'll do anything. So I wanted to touch base on the Jordan documentary that's happening right now. They pushed it up for us.
The Last
ESPN,
Dance.
The Last Dance. We appreciate it because I think
Absolutely.
as 90s kids, 80s and 90s kids, we're like enamored and in love with the idea of what this era was. So I just want to talk about certain things. And Diana had a great question. I don't know if that's the question you want to kick this off
We
with.
can kick it off with. We can kick it off. And I
But
want
go ahead.
Toccara to start because I already kind of know where Marley's head is at. Do you think that Jordan is a dickhead or was a dickhead?
No, I think he was extremely focused on being successful. And when you want to be successful, you will do whatever it takes and you demand excellence from everyone around you. When I'm going as hard as I'm going, you have no excuse of why you can't. And especially when you know I'm the face of the league and I go this hard, oh, you going this hard too. No doubt about it. But he can't be a dickhead though, because he would. Like, he don't care about, you know, you want to slack. Like, he'll slap you. Like, you're not right now. He's a competitor.
He is. And I think the competitor in him is what makes him a dickhead, is what makes him an ass. And I don't think he knows how to not leave that on the court. I think on an everyday basis, everything around him is a competition. I think he's one of those people that is, I'm walking outside, I'm walking 10 times faster than you. You'd be like, well, we're going to the same place. Like, he's just one of those. Which then, have you ever met those people who just be like, you don't have to be like this 24/7. Right?
He was
like, we're not
different.
at work.
Right.
Yeah, he was totally different. No, he was totally different. But I think if you were in his circle, you got to see a different side of him. Even with media back then, you know, they can make you look a certain type of way in the eyes of the media. You know, they did it with Kobe. And then we find out, like, Kobe was probably one of the sweetest guys you ever know. He's willing to teach anybody. So I think the media plays a part in it, and they just know how to pretty much drag the media along and let the media say what they say. But if you're in my circle, you know what I stand for, and I'm not standing for your bullshit.
Right. And honestly, I'm a debate what you just said, Marley. You said that there's people that they're always like that, and they don't know how to turn it off. I think excellence doesn't get turned off when people are like that. They're like that about everything in their life. Yeah. And I think that for Jordan to be who he was and to be identified the best person to play the game, he was basically the blueprint of what basketball players should actually behave and actually play like. He had that responsibility on his shoulders. And a man that I can identify his excellence like that, I don't believe he's going to give anyone slack, because when he believes that he can do it, it's not because he believes he's greater than you, it's because he believes he works harder than you. So therefore, you should work just as hard as he is in order for you to talk shit to him. So I do not think he's a dick. I think that he is an alpha male who knows how to lead. And men like that are difficult to get along with. I personally am a very big fan of men like this. I'm very attracted to men like this. Most of the men that I've dated have a similar personality trait. So I personally have nothing against a man who just doesn't respect bullshit. You see what I'm saying? I feel like that's the vibe I got from him. Like, it's like, I don't have time for, my nigga, we getting paid millions right now. Like, this is our job. Yeah. Like, please man up. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like that's awesome. And I think that from what we saw from the first 4 episodes thus far, I think what we saw was a man that was excellent at a craft and learned how to get really good at that craft. Whether or not he wasn't good at sharing the ball, you feel me?
He became good. He became good at it.
I think a lot of really good basketball players have that same problem. I don't think that it's a Jordan thing. I personally have known a lot of athletes in my life. Everyone does. You know of people that can play ball or whatever. And, you know, when you're a minority, you know some athletes. You know what I'm saying? It's just part of being a minority. Like, we're athletic people.
Right.
So it's like, you can see people who are really good at sports that are not really good at sharing the ball, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, if I'm shooting 1,000 shots a day and you shooting 200, I ain't giving your ass the ball to shoot it, because I know you're not putting in the work to. I wouldn't put the game in your hands when I know I'm doing more than you. You know what I'm saying? So I get that, and it's all about habit. If you don't have those habits to get successful, then it's no way you could just turn it on in the game. You know, you have to develop that mindset, and he did. And he made every teammate that played with him better, because he made their mental toughness. You either gonna step up, because I'm gonna win at all costs, and it don't matter who on the other side. I'm gonna find a way to win. If you're not with me, then you with them, and that's fine. You know. So
I liked the episode. I liked the Dennis Rodman episode.
Oh
Did
yeah,
you right?
so good.
Because
So
I
good.
think for me, first of all, Carmen Electra
Gorgeous, by the
looks
way.
amazing. I was like, that's what Carmen Electra looks at 50 something.
First of all, her eyes are like the ocean. Like, my
Really? I don't catch her
God.
eyus. But she
is breathtaking.
no. I thought imagine this. Carmen Electra was quite older
Than
in
us.
the 90s
Than us, right.
in the 90s.
Right.
Because that was like her late 20s, 30s,
Right.
like what we're at now. Carmen Electra has to be, somebody Google this, it has to be like 53, 55. But when I say she came on that screen and my Twitter timeline blew up because
Flawless.
she looked like she looked when we were like 10. Like that shit was mind-blowing to me. And that's all I gathered from half of that episode. Was that
she takes care of herself, obviously.
Impeccable.
Mm-hmm.
And that woman's been through some shits, and we've seen it on the news back in the day.
Right.
Impeccable. Anyways, Dennis Rodman.
48 years old.
Oh, she's not even 50?
No, but I mean, she looks great. She looks better than
fantastic
than me, and I'm not 48. So. So yeah, that bitch is doing great.
She's doing fantastic. But the Dennis Rodman story was interesting. I think it gave us some perspective as to like, you put yourself in his shoes at 20 something, 30, money, but then not fully developed, NSA, you're gonna go a little bit wild and free. But I don't even think what he did was too crazy. Or is that just me?
I mean, he was crazy when we were younger. We all thought he was crazy. And we still think he's crazy. For those of us out here in South Florida, we already know Dennis Rodman be out here in these streets.
Yeah. He married himself, Marley. He married himself.
He be out here in these streets looking crazy still.
He married himself. Marley, you got to look at Dennis Rodman's, his 30 for 30 on ESPN. And then you will literally get a real dive into his life and why he is the way he is.
Okay. I haven't seen that one.
You can check him out.
It wasn't such a deep dive. I think it was just about that season and that time frame that he was with the Bulls.
Right.
But I thought it was like, he's lucky social media wasn't around.
Oh Lord, he would have been 10 times more famous if social media wasn't around. So
100.
I think he would have been. It would have been a big. I don't even know what's the equivalency of him and like someone right now who has him and social media.
Strange for our time now, and imagine then. We were not as open then as we are now to people's alternative lifestyles, and he was strange to us then. You know what I mean?
And he was just like leather wearing, hair color, tattoos, and nose rings kind of shit. And that sounds like super basic to today.
Right.
That sounds like, oh, that's every day.
Yeah, that's the norm today. But it was not the norm then. He
At
dyed
all.
his hair, he put all kind of stuff in his hair. He didn't care.
Right.
I mean, Marley, he left and he in the middle of the season, he leaves and goes to Vegas for vacation. Like, dog, that's your job. You can't just win the season. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, but as they said, he needed those outlets. And it's like, I think it's really amazing how that goes to show that when you are really good at your job, like people will tolerate your bullshit sometimes. And it's like, that only comes to an elite you know what I'm saying? And it's like, he was a phenomenal basketball player. And I think that one of the things I appreciated the most from that episode was that I always knew he was a great basketball player. Everybody understood that them three, they were like, the back in the day, LeBron James, and this guy, what's his name?
Dwayne Wade.
No, Dwayne Wade, LeBron, and
Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh, yes. That they were like the original three when three, you know what I'm saying? So everybody knew they were a great trio. But I kind of forgot how talented Dennis Rodman was because we were so young then that all the bullshit distracted me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, I promise you, I've seen Dennis Rodman mad times in South Beach. I'm talking about mad times because he lives out here and he's out here all the time. And like, you see him and you never think twice to say like, yo, I want to take a picture with Dennis Rodman. Like, ever. Because he just seems like his antics are too much.
He's busy with something else. He don't like, it's just not for it. I also enjoyed very quickly the Scottie Pippen portion of the doc, which kind of irritated me, slightly pissed me off. I even texted Toccara because you think about 7 years, 18 million or something weird like that.
Yeah.
That's, even though at the end of the day, we've learned that he made the most money. At the end of the day, after his full career, he made the more money than anyone in their career.
Right.
That time frame, when you think about that moment, that time, and how successful the team was overall, and him not getting that kind of irritates you, kind of bothers you.
Yeah. And I think that goes to organizations as well, because if I can just put the first offer out there, and I know the first offer I'm putting out is going to be bullshit, I'm expecting you to counter me, but I don't know who Scotty's agent was, but it's like, damn, he signed that? I'm gonna roll with that. And you got the owner of the team saying, hey, Scotty, if I was you, I wouldn't sign that deal. And he signed it, but he signed it because he has a dad who's paralyzed, and he has a younger brother who's paralyzed. So he's just thinking, let me just make sure my family is okay. I want to take care of them, and not necessarily thinking, hold on, y'all are shortchanging me big time. So it's like, it's twofold. Some people are like, Michael Jordan should have stepped up. Like, dude, Michael Jordan's just a player. Like, he can't negotiate Scotty's contract. It's like, once you sign, the Bulls morally should have went back and say, hey, Scotty, all right, look, we're going to offer you something different. But that didn't happen. You signed it. All right, we good. Like, we ain't going back.
It's business. It's business.
Yeah, at the end of the day. And that, I hope players saw that you need to be educated when it comes to these organizations. That's what I took from it. Even though they got over on him, and like you said, Marty, he got the money after, be educated before going in. Because like you said earlier, Diana, we're minorities. So, the education level is not there. We weren't taught how to deal with lump sums of money. We just were barely taught how to deal with the little money we had. So when we get these big contracts, which we think are big and it's really small and minute, we just, oh yeah, shoot, I'm going for the mill. I might not see it anymore. I might get hurt, so. Right. I think that was a big lesson, and I hope that, our youth take advantage of what was put on that screen for them to see.
That's a great talking point. That I know that just recently the NCAA is now opening for athletes to get paid at college.
Texas A&M, listen to me. I need back pay. I need my back pay. That's all I'm saying. I need my back pay, man.
I said, I am legend status. I need my back pay.
100. I need my back pay. Every jersey they got number 1 on it. Come on, man. I need that. Just go ahead and cut the check. We can talk about it. Cut the check.
Yeah, it's totally unfair that students that are highlighted don't get any kind of credit for their jerseys. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and the thing was, they were saying, well, you're getting a free education, but I'm telling you, man, college, playing a sport, you got to go to class. You either flying out to play, and then you're flying back in late at night, and then you got to get up for class the next day. You got to go to practice, got to go to study hall. Like, you have a schedule that's pretty much set for you. So I do think athletes do deserve that, because at any moment, you can get hurt, and that's that. And they're like, well, you can get an education. I mean, you can graduate with a degree, but you might not even go in the field of that. You know what I'm saying? Of what your degree is. So it's like, nah, pay me.
Yeah, but hopefully with this, these athletes don't get taken advantage of and pay attention to what they're getting, what they're doing, and what they're doing with that money. Hopefully there's, in my opinion, you have to wait till graduation is over to get the sum of money, or some sort of rollout on the payout as it goes through, so that it kind of controls. Because when we start getting large sums of money, anybody, you act a damn fool. If I was in college getting a large sum of money, just the financial aid check, I thought it was balling. I wasn't using it towards the books.
You know how many unnecessary sneakers I bought with that student?
Exactly.
You get what I mean? So imagine you an athlete and getting paid out for your jersey in the middle of the school year. You acting a damn fool. You buying a penthouse. It's gonna go insane. So hopefully,
but I'm hoping they don't have, and I'm hoping they don't have agents or management companies that take advantage of the athletes as well. Like, they try, we're gonna negotiate on your behalf, and then they get in 90% and you getting 10% of the earnings. You know what I mean? So it's so twofold with everything. I just hope everybody does right by everyone in that deal.
So do I. Toccara, before we wrap up, final words on the Jordan documentary. I know he's your favorite player, so I'm gonna let you have a little moment of just sharing your passion of him. And then lastly, give us all your handles, where people can find you, contact you, even if they're looking for a home in the South Florida area, how they could reach out to you.
That's right. All right. So with The Last Dance, what I did see was, it's just greatness. You have to be consistent with this. He didn't take games off for no load management like our athletes are doing now. He didn't cheat the fans. Anytime the media wanted to talk to him about whatever, if he didn't want to go into a situation or into a topic, he just told them, you got to talk to whoever about that. He wasn't necessarily friendly with other people. The game is competitive, and you got to understand, if people are trying to beat you, you're not supposed to let that happen. So for me, I grew up watching him, and, I developed my competitive spirit from him. Like, I watched Come Fly With Me, Air Jordan, all his videotapes. And they were on VCR at the time. We couldn't stream it. But, that was just greatness. And other players respected his greatness because he went so hard. And he got cut when he was in high school. He didn't quit. He didn't cry to his mom, and his mom said, forget that. I'm taking you from this team. I'm taking you somewhere else. He accepted coaching. He didn't quit when the adversity hit. So that's what I get from it. And that's why I go so hard as I do. Like, it's nothing you can't get over. You just got to try. Don't try to get over the same way, because clearly that way probably didn't work, but you got to try a different way. He didn't fold when the Pistons beat him up, and, he was like, all right, I'm going to get stronger, because it's like, if that's your adversary, you can beat them. You know what I mean? But you got to just beat them in a different way. Be stronger, be mentally tough. So that's what I took from right now from The Last Dance. And awesome. He is the GOAT, fact.
So give us all your handles, how people can find you, and how they can get a home from you, how they can reach you to find a home.
All right. You're looking for me to find a home, go to Toccara Williams _ on IG. And if you go to Toccara Williams Real Estate on Facebook, you'll find me. But just look for them hashtags at Basketball Realtor. You can find me anywhere. Check out my basketball magazine, Sweet Rebound Magazine. Find me everywhere. Just Google me, people.
You are Googleable. That is a fantastic thing to be. The stats even show up. Right? That's amazing. Thank you so much, Toccara, for joining us. We appreciate it. Be safe. Wash your hands. Wear your mask.
For sure. Thank you, ladies.
Take care.
Thank you, ladies, for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
See you.
Well, thank you, Toccara, for joining us. I mean, we are such... I know I was a tomboy back in the day, so sports I can be into. Diana, I think I feel the same from you, that you had a tomboy tendencies.
Well, I have a big brother. So when you
that's
have a
right.
big brother, like, you kind of get introduced to, like, boy stuff when you're growing up, which ends up being pretty cool when you get older, because you're like, hey, I kind of know about stuff like that too. You know
you're like, I mean? I can keep up with the rest.
I can keep up with the lingo. You know what I mean?
Dribbles.
No, honestly, like, basketball is my favorite sport.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy watching it, and it's like the only sport I will watch by myself. And I can say that, like, as a woman, there's not many sports that women watch by themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But basketball is one that I can watch by myself, enjoy it enough to, like, understand enough and to, like, really be engaged. Now, to be honest with you, I owe that to the Jordan era, because that's when I got introduced to basketball for real. Was watching those really high electric games and not necessarily understanding the sport yet, because I was a kid, but, like, seeing the way that everyone in my living room was reacting to it, it, like, made you want to be engaged as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the reasons why our generation really, really enjoys the basketball sport. You know what I mean? Like, we're into it.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why LeBron is as famous as he is now, and even, like, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson. The reason that we grew up liking those players is because we grew up in a culture where Jordan was the fucking man.
Yeah.
So it's like, basketball was so rough back in the day and so intense, and so there was, like, so much crazy competitiveness on the court, and, like, it's become so much softer now. And, like, I feel like if you get into it now, it's not the same type of fan as if you would have gotten into it the way we did.
Yeah, I think absolutely. And shout out to my cousin two cousins. One, the cousin whose room I now have taken over, still has basketball posters, and that is a girl. She still has all her basketball posters and jerseys. She is a basketball fanatic.
Mhm.
And two, to my cousin Gabby, who had a life-size cutout of Michael Jordan in his bedroom
Oh
growing
wow.
up. Okay? Like kids of the 90s, Space Jam out. I'm
Yeah.
talking about life-size cutouts, posters everywhere.
Right.
Played Jordan all day, probably from the age of like 7 to like we were 14, like intense, real shit.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. I think Jordan was, and this is the age before social media, so you really had to go through magazines, you had to watch TV, highlights, you really had to read about all these people and really get to know them and read their stats. So it was like a different layer to it as to how fanatics we were, or how much we enjoyed it, and how much it meant a lot to us growing up. Like Space Jam is a big, like I love that movie.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that during the documentary, The Last Dance, every time he had one of the Jordans on, I was like calling out the numbers. Every time I
Right.
saw him, I'm like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? And like that shit is dope for like those of us who valued, those sneakers when we were growing
Yeah.
up, and they're still in style now, which is awesome. Like retro Jordans are like still the dopest sneakers. So it's like, it's awesome that like that culture is like the culture that we grew up on. You know what I mean? Like this
That
is,
we kind of created in a
in a sense,
sense,
yeah.
right?
And it's like, this shit is hot. And it's like, those sneakers were fire when we were there. Oh my God, I need these sneakers. And it's like, you see him wearing, when you see him wearing it, it's like, oh, he's
Like it's
wearing
real.
the fucking sneaker. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? I don't know. That was cool about it. I kind of geeked out. I'm not going to lie. Like,
No,
I
of
was
course.
like,
And
yeah,
there's like several episodes left, so
yeah.
shout outs to them for that. And moving right along.
Moving right along, let's talk a bit about the shits. Let's talk about Instagram. Okay, because we all know we all like to act high and mighty, but we all be on Instagram. Okay.
All of us.
The first thing I want to say that we all be on Instagram, let's say we really all be on Instagram. Why are so many people that are incarcerated doing all these damn challenges on Instagram? Like, I'd be like, okay, this shit a little loose. Like, it's like 12 different videos I've seen of like
I've seen several, and they be knowing how to do the dance better than I do.
Mhm.
So they have time to scroll and study. And like I don't even have TikTok on my phone, but this prisoner does. I just want to share
Explain
this.
this to me.
I don't know.
Explain this to
I
me.
think that might be, I guess, because the whole country shut down. So are the jail systems. I don't know. Everyone's just kind of like, everyone just be safe and don't touch me. Like, I don't know. That I do find very interesting. But haven't people always been sneaking in? I mean, they've always been sneaking it in, I'm sure. But this was
I
like,
mean,
they feel
I'm
very,
sure.
very like, when the men are doing the dances, it's like they have no care in the world. They're in the open space.
Right. And they have haircuts and shape ups. Like, what? What's
And
going
the
on?
camera's like on the windowsill, that the sunlight coming in and hitting them in the right way. And you're just like, they have angles.
Yeah.
Like, but that's an interesting thought. There are a lot of them. I didn't realize that there were so many.
Right. And I was just thinking to myself, is it that we just loose right now because of the coronavirus, or because like it really be loose in jail? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know what to take of this. I was like, wow, this is like a lot.
It
I
might
mean, don't
be a
get me
mix of
wrong.
two.
I be watching my Netflix shows with the prisoners, you know what I'm saying? And I know they be sneaking in contraband. I know this. But I thought it was a secret. Like, I didn't think that it was something
I thought it was supposed to be low key, not tag the facility you're in while
Right.
you're doing it. Or wearing the
Right.
shirt that says the facility's name on it. Yeah, that's very true. And the
Thinking they
COs are
checked into the location.
right. The COs are probably just like, I don't want to touch you. You don't want to touch me. We don't know who got what. We're trapped in here together. Because at the end of the day, a CEO is kind of stuck in there also for
Right.
however many hours. So they probably just
Right.
don't want to interact with them and just be like, just don't do nothing stupid.
Right. If you want to do a little shiggy challenge, it's all good, right?
A little shimmy on the gram, go ahead.
Right.
Don't tell them
Now,
where you at.
I think another phenomenon that we must all admit is TikTok. Clearly, this is something that happened after we were already adults, because TikTok is like the new phenomenon, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I still do not understand why it is that it's a good platform for musical artists. I don't know how they profit from this. If you do know, please enlighten me.
Mm-mm.
But apparently, a lot of new music gets dropped on TikTok, right?
Yeah, that's the new the new way to drop music or snippets or something like that.
Right. A few of the videos I've seen, the only TikTok videos I've seen is the ones that they post on Instagram after they did it on TikTok, because I don't have a TikTok account. I feel like I'm social media out with all the possible social media platforms I can fuck
We've
with.
reached the age
Mm-hmm.
where we could know, for me, my brain capacity to keep up with things at a constant basis, that's not relevant to me or I'm interested in. I no longer have room for those things.
Right.
So certain apps and certain things like that that aren't beneficial to like what I do for a daily basis or for work, I have no, you know, I have no
Good
storage for
point.
that. I don't
Good
think
point.
about that.
There's really no need for more distractions.
Right. Like I can't add
Mm-hmm.
it to my plate. I will say I live with a 21-year-old cousin who has a TikTok and I'll run into her all the time figuring out how to do a dance and recording herself. I walk right in the middle of it. I didn't know what's happening. But
Right.
it is interesting and I see it from her phone, whatever she shows me. That's how I watch a TikTok.
Right. I mean, yeah. I personally think, like, for example, I think Osuna, for those of you who follow Osuna is hilarious on
Is
TikTok,
he?
because he be posting his videos on his Instagram of what he be doing on TikTok, and he is hilarious. Like, he is a funny guy. He's always like imitating like really funny Dominican clips. I don't even know how to explain it. He's really funny. So shout out to Osuna and Latino rappers, of course. Now, as far as, you know, everything kind of shifting, I think it was important for us to highlight that, because you know how everybody's been saying that we now have to learn how to praise doctors and nurses and frontline workers, and that we no longer have the ability to praise actors and athletes, that this is like a
Haven't
shift in
heard that.
society. Yeah, it's like a shift in society, that we're no longer just praising people in Hollywood and people who are high paying athletes, that we're actually taking the time to thank those who save our lives, and that there's been a shift in popularity because of that. And that kind of puts things in perspective, that takes away the glorified status that we give celebrities and athletes. So I thought it was a good thing to bring up, because we were just talking about a glorified athlete,
Yes.
which is Michael Jordan, and how he's an iconic American because of his athletic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But do we ever see that level of admiration ever happening with, like, let's say, like Dr. Fauci?
Well,
You know
Dr.
what I
Fauci
mean?
might be a hard example, given the
Right,
fact
but
that Dr. Fauci's been there for like longer than we have.
I mean,
But
he's
yes,
just
I
the
get
most famous doctor right now. You know what
right
I'm
now.
saying?
Yeah, no, of
Right
course,
now.
of course. I get that, but I'm thinking like I just remember one day someone talking about Dr. Fauci's been in there since Reagan, and I'd be like, well, god damn, that
Yikes.
man knows a lot. But I think the difference is when we talk about Jordan, it's because it's sort of something we can't technically physically do ourselves, right? There's like a fantasy of like, wow, I would love to be able to have that agility, that jump, that drive, that skill set, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why sometimes we not glorify, because I'm always careful with that, because I don't hold everybody to like a huge ass pedestal like how see as like my friends or my mom, right? Because that man can disappoint us at any moment. Like we said, he's an ass. But I will say, I think individually some people do, because that person has a skill set of that nature that I can't pick up. That's why we probably have a little bit more excitement over them,
Mm-hmm.
over a health worker or social worker
Well, I mean,
or
can you
thing.
do what a surgeon can do? I mean,
But I can be taught that skill, and I can educate myself to do that, and I can do that in 10-15 years from now if I put myself right. I
that's
think
fair.
what Jordan has is something that's natural born agility, and he worked hard at it. That's, you could work hard at it also, but it
I mean, there's
seems
people
so
that
much
work
more
hard every
further.
day and they never make it in the NBA.
No, true, but it seems so much further than me becoming a surgeon.
That's
Does
so
that make
interesting
sense?
for you to say. That's so interesting for you to say, because I'm
That,
sure.
that's just me processing
No,
it right now.
I think that you have a valid point, and it's interesting because I'm sure that there's a whole group of people right now that probably feel opposite of you, and they say, you know what, I could probably do great athletically if I really try to put myself to it. I just don't have the mental capacity to retain the information to be a fucking surgeon. You know, like, I guess it just depends from what set of eyes you're looking at it from, because it's really fascinating. It's about what each person's natural abilities are at the end of the day.
Right.
Because if you're like 5'5", you're probably not gonna be able to dunk like Jordan.
Never.
Like, regardless of how much athletic training, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You do.
Yeah.
So that's a fair fucking point.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that to me is that. So, and I'll say, like, in the Hollywood aspect of it, I think it's that same way. Some of us don't have a talent skill set to be convincing in whatever that person does in that actor, you know, in that movie or something like that. I think it's all towards the individual, but I don't think we should ever hold anyone to a pedestal, because you will be disappointed in some way, shape, or form. You have to be prepared for disappointment, and if that makes sense, right? But
No,
I understand the importance right now of. I think this does open eyes to realize that you don't have to be an athlete, you don't have to be an actor to be appreciated or rewarded or do things that are rewarding, because these people put themselves on the line just as much, and that's a rewarding job, and that's, you know, can make you feel good, and that has achievements just as much and just as well.
Yeah, but in America, celebrities are royalty.
Oh yeah,
the celebrities are the royalty of our land. You see what I'm saying? We praise and idealize Hollywood and people who are wealthy. Obviously, hello, look at our reality stars. Like, all they do is show off how rich they are at the end of the day. So,
and now they're bored and really showing you. we have seen Drake's entire household. That's how bored he is. He made a music video of it.
Right. I love me a Tootsie Slide. Won't lie. Find the dance very difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the switching up while you're on the same foot is not easy, and I feel like you do gotta create a way of making it comfortable. That's why Ciara's still the fucking king when it comes to like all this shit. That bitch is the best.
And pregnant, well doing it.
Wow, she was.
See,
she is.
You see,
the best.
Athletes,
She's
dancers.
the best. Oh my, exactly. Yo, sidebar. On the Joe Biden's podcast, when they were talking about, I don't know if you heard this episode, that they were talking about when your girl moves on and she upgrades. And they were talking about how Ciara is a perfect example of moving on and upgrading. Yeah. She ended up being with like the most amazing man on the planet after being with Future.
Amazing man. Who's a half cornball, I might have to say.
Yeah, but it's sometimes better for him to be a little corny.
It's better
if y'all ladies is out here listening, y'all already know what I'm talking about. It's sometimes better when he's a little corny because he's going to be all about you, boo.
I can take the corny with the faithfulness, because that's what we got.
He is
he's adorable. He is cute. And look at, he's amazing. And he treats her as she should have been treated from day one.
Absolutely.
But that's a throwback. Speaking of Tootsie Slide, actually speaking of TikToks, there's a Dominican TikTok threads out there, and y'all kids are trying to learn how to cook, but someone made a Dominican locrio with queso.
Ew.
And I was like, TikTok, that's where I don't want to be a part of you.
That doesn't sound good at all.
That's how people are learning how to cook. So please, not everything is for everybody.
And you don't have to put cheese on everything, people. Stop being so fucking fat. Like, come on, bro. Everything don't need cheese. And trust me, I love me some fucking cheese.
I love some cheese.
I love me some cheese. But you don't got to put fucking fat in everything. Like, it's like, yo, like, niggas is, oh, God, man.
But I love
I love me some
Love
cheese.
some
Don't get me
cheese.
wrong. Y'all know me. I know I fucks with cheese, but like I'm also educated enough to know that there's a portion that you should have, and there's a portion you should not have because
And
cheese
not
is
every
really
profile,
fucking bad
not
for
every
you.
flavor profile requires cheese on it.
You don't need to put cheese on your ice cream, fat ass. Like, just
No.
slow that shit down. Like, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, come on, eat a
Social media,
salad.
social media is a whirlwind, and I mean, look at all these factors we just talked about in a moment. It can take you for a roller coaster ride of what is happening, what is out there, and what is real or not
Right.
real. What is
Absolutely.
reality of it? Like, again, is it really jailbirds on TikTok dancing to
They look
Tootsie
like they
Slide?
was in jail. They definitely look they was.
Oh, another side note. See, I think we just called the segment side note. But I think later we'll take a deep dive into artificial intelligence, because I discovered an Instagram account that has over 2 million followers, has songs out with Tiana Taylor, and is a complete fake AI animated character.
Wow. Okay.
And that is what social media is doing to, like, we have to be prepared to be able to train our minds not to be tricked between what's real and what's not real.
Spooky.
Yeah. Just want to
Okay.
put that out there.
And then with that note, we will just say, you know what, guys, Twilight Zone and all that other good stuff, and keeping up with the keeping up. But besides that, we appreciate this conversation because it was kind of about the entertainment, what's keeping us going during this quarantine, and we all just trying to make it work. Obviously, we would love to get back to normalcy and being outside, but since this may take a little longer than anticipated, especially in some of the states that are listening, especially Northeast guys, New York City, you are our biggest following, so we know you guys are listening. And we definitely can only imagine how frustrating it must be to not necessarily have an end date. So that's why it's important to have these entertaining things to watch, like Instagram and like these shows and whatnot. Now, we are going to probably give you guys some recommendations on other things that are really good to watch. I have a few.
Okay.
I have a movie. It's called The Female Brain. I saw it on Hulu.
Okay.
I really liked it. Super cute movie. It's a female movie, but it's also educational. So, for example, for you ladies who have a boyfriend or a husband or a significant other at home, you know how sometimes you want to watch like a girl topic and they're just like, let's talk after you're done watching this type of vibe. This is a good one because it kind of educates you on how the actual brain works. So it's like a really cool romantic comedy
Oh,
because it kind of
nice.
shows you, like, let's say you're in the middle of meeting a new guy. It'll pause it and allow you to see what the brain triggers as to why you're attracted to the person. So it's a good watch, and it allows you to self-reflect on certain behaviors that we have as women. So I think The Female Brain is a really cool thing to watch
You
for
know, I
sure.
love a romantic comedy, so I will
Yeah,
be watching.
and it's a smart romantic comedy.
Cool.
As far as another show that I think me and Marley can relate on from FX, Dave, super hilarious.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, super hilarious. Super rapper Little Dicky is the star of the show. He is quirky. He is talented. He's a phenomenal actor. Comedy is extremely funny.
Fits
Well
him very
written.
well. Super
Great
well written.
cast. Great cast.
Diana, I cried in an episode. Like,
Yeah, a great cast. I love his girlfriend in the show.
did you see the last episode with the
Yeah,
girl?
we're not gonna spoiler alert, but
Just that
his
whole episode in general was just
yes,
nuts.
yes. Honestly, I love her. Like, I love her. That's why I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I fucking love her.
Yes.
So, it's a good show.
Yeah. I mean, it even like the episode I cried on was had to do with mental health, because
I cried too.
he was legitimately crying, and that's his actual real story in real life.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's like,
Interesting.
so it has this mix of real life components
Absolutely.
and comedy at the same time. So when I
Yeah.
learned that was that guy Gators, because that's his real name too, I think his rapper name is Gator. that he's really bipolar. Like, he really has these issues.
Nice.
And
That's
so
awesome. I
that
didn't know
being
that.
implemented was just beautiful. I
Mhm.
learned he had it prior to that airing, prior to me
Mm.
seeing the show. So the reason why I went to go see it is because someone posted it. So I was like, let me go watch the show. I was
Got
like,
it.
why would
Okay.
someone like, so I, that clip was on Instagram somewhere, and it intrigued me to go watch the show.
I think the show is fantastic.
Out of this world. If you guys like Atlanta, because Atlanta
Mhm.
has a little bit of that dark is more dark comedy, Atlanta, but that wittiness, that little like, there's not a background track laughing. It's you're
Right.
fucking laughing out loud because you get it, what just happened,
Right.
and you get what they're talking about. It's that kind of deal. And that's what I like. I like that wittiness, that almost intellectual comedy that you be like, ha, I get it, kind of thing.
I see this being a great success. I see this show having a lot of success.
Yeah, and a great opportunity for Dickie. So shout
Mhm.
outs to him. That's a good one. Any other recommendations?
I think that's all I have for this week.
My one recommendation, I can't remember if I already said this one, Little Fires Everywhere.
Good show. So
Um,
I finished it as well.
I think it was fantastic. I don't need a season 2. I think everyone should watch it. Yeah. Do you want to debate about that on the next episode if it needs another season?
You know what I think was so fantastic about that show? I hated both the main characters a lot
A
throughout the
lot.
show.
The whole
So
fucking
it's like
thing.
I wasn't like happy with either of these bitches a lot. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't understand you. I don't understand you. I was like so frustrated. And that to me is phenomenal acting. Like if you can get me so involved that I have an emotional reaction to both of your behaviors equally, it's because you women are doing a fantastic job acting.
Talking about yelling at the TV, screaming, pissed off at these bitches.
Yes.
Like, I don't even want to see you come on my screen again. Do you understand?
Yo, all I kept on saying was this bitch. This bitch! Like,
Oh, fucking shit, what? Yo, let me tell you though, when Reese Witherspoon did that one scream,
uh-huh.
actually there's 2 times that she screams. One scared the shit out of me, and I was like, oh bitch, she told you to put them fucking shoes on. That was one. But the second one at the end, I said, oh, she's a fucking actress.
Yeah.
That shit is real. That
She's an
shit
actress
right
for
there
sure.
deserves all the awards because she hit
You
a
know who's a
screech.
really good
But she
actress
yelled.
as well? The one who plays the daughter. All the kids are good actors.
All the kids are
All the
phenomenal
kids are good
actors,
actors.
by the way.
But no, I don't want to call her the black daughter, but right now I don't remember her character name.
Kerry Washington's Pearl.
Pearl. There you go. The girl who plays Pearl. Gorgeous girl.
Gorgeous.
Pearl is a phenomenal actress. Wow. When she's going toe to toe with her mom and like having those type of scenes, I'm like, yo, this little girl is like acting like really well.
There's
well.
something about every single one of those characters that I thoroughly enjoyed, and you learned them. And I think that's why for me, I don't want a season 2 and don't need a season 2, because I think the character development that happened throughout the show, as we progressed and got to the season, that ending, we knew everything about them. We felt their emotion. Like, I think I gathered everything I wanted from them, and I felt satisfied for them at the end. I think that for me, I think I was just so satisfied with it at the end.
I don't think it's going to be possible to not do a season 2. There's going to be such a great reaction to this that I think that they're going to make another, just because the people are going to want another season because it was so well done.
But there's no more book to it either. So I feel like if the writer didn't have a season 2 or more to it, there's just nothing more to it.
It's happened before.
Yeah, but you know, Hollywood likes to ruin some shits. And when you're satisfied, you're satisfied. To me, I am satisfied. But anyways,
for those of you who haven't noticed, Hulu is where it's at, by the way, for quarantine.
Very much where it's at.
Yeah.
It has transitions to the Hulu account. I haven't opened that other one in a while, in some time. And that is my recommendation. You guys should just go watch Little Fires Everywhere. I think it's fantastic. Just as a woman, as a mom, like as a hope to be mom, as a person who has a mom.
Right.
You can see some parts where you'd be like, oh, my mama would have snatched my ass. Just a little emotional. And then
having a lot of kids is difficult too.
Yeah. It was just a fantastic series.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my recommendation this week.
Awesome sauce, guys. Now you heard it here first. Okay. We talked about Jordan and female movies.
Rom-coms.
Podcast. Like, I don't know what else you can expect from such a fantastic podcast. Like, where else are you going to find this type of
multifaceted podcast, people?
It's incredible.
Don't forget to follow us on our Instagram pages. Facebook. Oops. Don't forget to follow us at Fresh Mondays Podcast on Instagram, Facebook. You can email us at freshmondayspodcast@gmail.com. You can follow me at Love Marley, LUVMARLEY _. You can follow Diana at
I am Diana C _. I am Diana C _. And please make sure to reach out at any time if you guys are interested in being a part of our conversation. Thank you so much for all of our guests during this quarantine series. And thank you so much for all of our future guests.
Yes.
We really appreciate you guys being a part of this and helping us all get through these tough times in our country. We're all stuck no matter where we are, guys. Let's make the best of it and enjoy a good episode of Fresh Mondays Podcast.
Thank you guys for listening and see you next week.